Today, I was lucky enough to interview the king of Minecraft Superflat, Mogswamp. I hope you enjoy the interview and check out the description for timestamps to the questions and for Mog's socials. Also, this was streamed on my Twitch, so check that out too if you'd like. Okay, enjoy. Chat, this is Mogswamp.
Yo.
Trying to turn the right way. Okay, question one. This is pretty basic, just opener question. Who are you, and where would most people know you from?
I'm known online as Mogswamp, the king of Superflat Minecraft, which is like a niche challenge in the game that not a lot of people know about, or not a lot of people used to know about. And yeah, most people just know me from my YouTube videos. I do long forms and shorts. I think like a lot of people probably know me from my shorts at this point, but
And then where did the username Mogswamp come from?
so hi buddy. He wanted to be in the interview. So my friend and I were just kind of like shooting nonsense words back and forth. We used to do that a lot on AIM. He's actually my friend Jason, who I first played Superflat with.
Oh yeah, I remember what you said.
Yeah. So we had like a bunch of silly inside jokes, and when I decided to make the channel, I just kind of like we literally had like a text pad document full of like inside jokes. And a lot of them were just like nonsense words. And what I did was I mined that list for anything that wouldn't have any results on Google, because I wanted to make it so that if you Googled my channel name in quotes, literally zero results would come up. So now if you like Google Mogswamp in quotes, you know for a fact that like every result is related to specifically me. Because before, when you did that, there would be zero. So yeah, that was like for some reason that was important to me. But I always tell people like you definitely don't have to do that because like if you think about like Dream or like Ninja, like some of the most popular YouTubers use like really common words as their tag. So you don't have to do it that way, but that's just how I went about it.
If you could go back in time to the younger you in 2013 who made that I scheduled this video in 2013 video, what would you say if you were to say anything to that person?
Man, what a question. That kid had so much ahead of him. Man, what would I say to him? Honestly, like all the things I would want to say to him are probably just about like girls and like relationships and stuff. That's like where I've honestly like learned the most,
Yeah.
in my life is like when it comes to like dealing with relationships and stuff like that. When it comes to like the actual channel, I don't know that I would have much to say because like everything ended up working out in the long run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, I could have gone back in time and like taught my past self about YouTube, and then maybe I would have been successful back then. But I actually kind of like how my path worked out because what I'm seeing is there's a lot of Minecraft YouTubers who I'm friends with who are about like 18, 19, basically the age that I was back then. And they're having to decide between their career and going to college. And that just wasn't a choice I had to make. Like, because YouTube hadn't become a viable career path for me at that point, it was just a very easy decision to go to college and get my education and that experience and the degree. And yeah, I'm really happy I didn't have to choose between those things like so many other Minecraft YouTubers are having to do, because that's a really, really hard choice.
Yeah.
So I'm actually like really stoked that everything worked out the way it did. I managed to get my degree, and then even get a little bit of work experience in a real like work setting under my belt before YouTube ever worked out. Because I also think that's important too. Like working the 9 to 5 job definitely taught me a lot of things. It taught me a lot of things about like what I want in life, and I feel like if you've never done that before, that's also like valuable data.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to the channel, I don't think I would have much to say. I mostly would probably try to impart things about relationships, things about like, dealing with emotion, because honestly, that's where he had the most room to grow.
Because a lot of people I hear say like, "Oh, I would have done YouTube because I would get a million subs by now or whatever." But it's very interesting to have that different point of view where it's like, "I'm grateful for what I have. This is what else I would have done. That's not YouTube related." What games were you into before you started Minecraft? Because this is a question from chat from Side Dude.
So let's see. My whole like gaming life. Let's see. So like one of the first games I was like truly obsessed with was Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Mhm.
And I'm still obsessed with it to this day. I watch all the tournaments. I know all the players. I played a ton of it in college, somewhat competitively. I mean, I suck, but like, you know, I went to tournaments and stuff. Then like probably when I was a kid, I got, you know, I had some DS games that I really liked and stuff like that. I was always super obsessed with the Animal Crossing series, especially
Mhm.
the GameCube one. And then, yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and 3 and Zoo Tycoon 1 and 2 were like pillars of my childhood. So, like, those creative type games are
Yeah.
really what I gravitated towards. And when the Xbox 360 came out, I managed to get one. And my biggest games on there were Viva Pinata, Far Cry Instincts Predator, and Halo 3. And
Mhm.
that was when I started getting into shooters, but like I think even then, like Halo 3 and Far Cry both had really, really good level editors, like map editors,
Yeah.
which is I think why I gravitated towards those as opposed to just like a Call of Duty, which I've never really played because like the level editing and then shooting on the level was way more fun to me than just like playing an FPS game.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then I guess right around after the Xbox era is when I probably got into Minecraft, and right before Minecraft, there were definitely some other indie games that I was really enjoying, Nuclear Throne, and you know that was like really honestly the golden era of indie games. So I played tons and tons of indie games like around that time.
And then you call yourself the king of Minecraft Superflat, but if you weren't and didn't have a career in Minecraft, where would you see yourself?
Well, I was doing graphic design in my career prior to YouTube. Wasn't super happy with it. The thing I really hate about graphic design is having to listen to your clients.
Uh,
So like if you're an artist, right? Like you can just make art and people like you for your artistic vision and will buy your art. I mean, it's really hard to make it as an artist, but you know, you have that artistic license and that creative freedom. As a graphic designer, people come to you and hire you to create their vision. So you don't really, you know, you have a lot of influence and you can try and convince them and push them in certain ways. But most people don't really know a lot about graphic design. And it's really frustrating when they are making decisions that you know are bad as a designer, but they insist on them because, you know, they're the ones paying you. It's really super frustrating. So yeah, working with clients was super annoying. So I really wanted to get out of graphic design, and I really saw myself trying to get into animation in some way, shape, or form. And luckily, I do a lot of animating for my YouTube channel. That's one of my biggest passions. But yeah, if not for YouTube, maybe I would have tried to be an animator for a different YouTuber, or even just go into the industry. Although I have friends who went to Hollywood and like started to get into the animation industry, and it is brutal. It's kind of like the video game developing industry, which is similarly brutal, where they just kind of like they have a lot of young talent who really wants to get into the industry, and they just kind of grind through them, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, who knows where I'd be for sure, but most likely I'd still be doing graphic design related stuff.
You have two other channels like Morswamp and Mogswamp Design. Do you plan on doing anything with these channels, or are they just kind of old stuff?
So Mogswamp design is super old. That's like something I made like probably back in 2013 or something like that. And I was just basically super into graphic design and animation at the time, and so I wanted like a channel. Basically, like back then, channel intros on YouTube were a huge thing. Like
Mhm.
everybody had that like 5 to 10 second like little thing that would play at the beginning of all their intro, like,
Yeah.
all their videos, or if not all their videos, then like for a certain series, you know what I mean? Like if they were
Yeah.
playing, you know, a different game other than Minecraft, it would always have the same intro before that game, right? So I would basically just make those for other YouTubers and for my own channel as well. And I wanted a place to put all those little stingers, as they're called, and basically use it as like a portfolio. So Mogswamp Design has been gathering dust for like well
Yeah.
over a decade. More Swamp I reserved so that no one could steal it, as well as Vlog Swamp, and I gotta reserve Miko Swamp too. Just because I wasn't sure if I was gonna do any other stuff. Like I want a place to put like maybe clips from my streams. I might try to do other games. I'm just not sure. So I just wanted to like have the names just in case, and then we'll see what happens. But for now, I have to focus on the main channel because that's what's working. But when I have time, I'd love to do some other side projects, see if I can make them work. I think like out of all the side projects I could do, the thing I want to do most of all is a travel spin-off channel. I'm just so jealous of those travel YouTubers who like basically their job is to just go on cool vacations
Yeah.
and tell you about it. Like that's so sick, man. And like now that I know about like how tax write-offs work, like those guys are writing off all those trips on their taxes because that is their job. Like to go on these trips and then tell you about it. So that would just be so sick. Just being able to travel the world. That's like one of my biggest goals now because my biggest goal was always making it on YouTube. So now that I've done that, yeah, one of my biggest goals is to see the world, do a lot more travel.
From Fox Nomination in chat, favorite music and or instruments?
Oh man, it's hard to give favorite music because I listen to like a little bit of everything, man. Probably my most listened to genre is like hip hop. Like I'm super into trap, drill, hyper pop, all of it. But I love all sorts of different music, Afro pop, a lot of punk genres, a lot of jazz genres, just tons and tons of stuff.
Yeah.
But favorite instruments? I mean, I can't really play any instruments other than my little omnichord, which I can show you real quick. It's this funky little machine.
Oh.
Yeah, it's this like cool Japanese auto harpsichord they call it. And you don't really need any musical skill to play it because you just press the button for the chord you want and just kind of strum. So it's insanely fun. It's an insanely beautiful sounding instrument. Unfortunately, mine's broken, and
Oh.
with dude, it's a major stress in my life. I really want to get this either fixed or replaced because not being able to play my omnichord is like so sad for me.
Are those like recent or are those like older or?
I think they're from like the 80s, I want to
Mhm.
say.
I wonder how much those cost because those look. I'm not
I
sure if
think
they.
I got mine for around 300 years and years ago, but I think they've gone up, honestly, because
Oh.
there's not like there's a finite amount of them in the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at this point, they're probably like 500 bucks, which is why I haven't replaced it yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite part of Superflat? So you've done it for 12 years or 11.
I think so. The way I describe it is like, I mentioned I play a lot of like Roller Coaster Tycoon and like
Mm-hmm.
Tycoon creative type games. Like in those games, there's always like a campaign mode and then a sandbox mode. So like in Roller Coaster Tycoon, the campaign mode is like it gives you like an already pre-existing environment and it gives you like a park that like already has a start and they're like failing financially and you have to come in and try and like fix the park, make it financially viable
Mm-hmm.
and like work around the terrain that already exists. Which some people like that, but I never could get into that style of playing. Like I always just wanted to do pure sandbox mode. Like I would give myself the infinite money cheat and it's basically just a flat plane, just like Superflat, that you would just like plop your park down onto. And that was my favorite way to play by far. And so I always say that like super flat Minecraft to me feels like the sandbox mode of Minecraft. Like there's
Yeah.
no pre-existing terrain, and you just get to do everything yourself. And I really love flying around my world and knowing that anything that's not just that flat plane of grass, I did that. Like literally
Yeah.
every single thing you see in my world, every single block you see was placed by me. I had to place that by hand. You just like you can't get that when you look at other worlds. It's really hard to tell like, okay, is that natural terrain? Did he terraform that? How much of it was him? How much of it was the game generating? And so I just really love that aspect of it, first of all. And then second of all, there's the challenge of it. Not being able to go mining for ore and having to find obscure game mechanics to get
Yeah.
things and in some cases not even being able to use things, like it's really hard to make certain farms without snow golems, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you have to work around that. I love the challenge and I love the freedom of the sandbox mode, as I call it.
Well, this is a
So
question I had later on, but how do you find these obscure game mechanics? Is it just a lot of random trying things or?
honestly, I think it's just like having watched YouTubers for so long. Cause like Ethos Lab was the first Minecraft guy I ever really watched. And that guy, he is the king of finding like obscure Minecraft mechanics. Like I don't think anyone plays the game quite like Ethos Lab. which is why so many redstone inventions and stuff are his. Like he invented, I'm pretty sure he invented like the original cactus farms, like the design that most people still use today, more or less. I think he invented like bud switches, which before the Observer was a way to detect block updates
Oh yeah.
with a piston. I'm pretty sure he invented the hopper clock. So like just stuff like that. Like he always was looking at the game in a different way, and so a lot of those obscure mechanics I just found in his videos. And then the other two I want to shout out is JL2579 and Ilmango, who are like the technical, gods of the game. A lot of people don't know the first name, JL2579, but he was the Ilmango of yesterday. Kind of like Minecraft was the Hermitcraft of yesterday, of 10 years ago. JL was like back before Ilmango made videos. He was like the technical god. He would break the game in a crazy way that only the Germans can do. And so yeah, Il Mango has since kind of like taken and continued that legacy. But yeah, I think those three, especially watching their videos, like when Il Mango did his like peaceful series, I think the way that he had to get slime blocks was by making a panda farm. And like some of the pandas can spawn with like a runny nose, which spawns
Oh yeah.
slime blocks. Like just super obscure mechanics, right? And so yeah, just from watching videos, honestly, like I can't lie, I don't find a lot of this stuff myself. It's just from like being super into the game and watching a lot of content.
Have you lost a lot of progress to a crash before, or do you just always save and you're always good?
I try to make really frequent backups, but I've had some decently big setbacks before. All right, probably one of the worst ones ever was like probably around 2015 or so. Yeah, I've definitely had my world corrupt a few times. Like I think the furthest back I've ever had to reset things is about like a month of progress.
Oh,
But I've also like whenever your game corrupts, you can take your most recent backup and copy your level.dat into your current world that's corrupt, and a lot of times it fixes it, but it messes with certain things like your statistics can get erased, for example. So in the past, multiple times I've been able to save my world from like pretty decent, like from big progress losses, but at the cost of my statistics being reset or like other stuff like that, which is why, my world, first of all, predates per world statistics. Like there weren't, like back when I made my world, you just had one statistics tab for all of your Minecraft worlds. So already I can't get accurate statistics, but then on top of that, my statistics have had to be reset multiple times along the years. And then, yeah, I've told the story many times about why I don't have an accurate day count either. So yeah, like basically I just have no reliable statistics for my world anymore, but I think it's worth it to have prevented corruption multiple
yeah.
times, Yeah.
And this is from Halo in chat. If you could like distill your entire YouTube journey and life experiences into one piece of advice or wisdom that you could share with your viewers, what would you say?
I mean, it's super cliche, but I say it a lot in my videos. It's just never give up because, I mean, like, I think one of the most inspiring things you can possibly see on YouTube is my subscriber graph over the over my
Yeah.
entire channel history. It is literally just like flat for 10 years. And then all of a sudden it just like hits a wall and goes straight up. And I think like a lot, like I just remember talking to people because I had slowly gained subscribers from 2012 when I made my channel to 2017. I slowly climbed up to 5,500 subs. I had, 5,500 subscribers. And then I literally got stuck there for 5 years until 2022. I could not move past 5,500 subs. In fact, I lost a couple hundred subscribers and I was grinding. And that was like soul crushing. Like I talked to a lot of people about quitting. I talked to a lot of people about, maybe my account's shadow banned and I just need to make a brand new account. But I was just I was so freaking stubborn. I knew that there was something special about my channel and my Superflat world, and I just wasn't willing to start over or give up. I was just insanely stubborn about it. I went against everybody's advice, and it ended up finally working out. I had to trust that little voice inside me saying like this could work. So yeah, basically just never give up are the three words that I would that I would boil all that down to.
Kind of mentioning subscriber count. You did a stream like only 8 months ago where you reached 700,000 subscribers. You're now nearly at 2 million. How do you think you grew so fast?
One of the ways was YouTube Shorts. Like that one I got almost 1 million subscribers from one singular short. So I think I would have hit 1 million subs last year for sure if I never started posting shorts, but the shorts definitely gave me a huge boost, and specifically the one short that I'm super famous for definitely gave me a huge boost. But then like beyond that, I think just like having a really unique thing about my channel. I like there are no other Superflat channels. Like when I first started on YouTube gaining traction, I remember I was in a Discord full of like all these like algorithm bros, I call them. You know, people super obsessed with the algorithm who like give each other advice and stuff like that. I was super new to the whole like algorithm studying thing. And someone asked me, they were like, "What's your niche?" And I was like, "Superflat. Superflat's my niche." And they were like, "What? That's not a niche. That's a horrible niche." Because it didn't exist. Like no one knew even what it was. But I think in the end, like that ended up being insanely valuable because I'm the only Superflat guy. I have that brand, the Superflat guy. Like the other day when I rated Small Ant for the first time on Twitch, immediately in the chat, he was like, "Oh, the Superflat guy, right?"
Oh,
Like that's like a huge YouTuber who I've been watching for years who just like knew that one little thing about me. So I think that's like crazy, crazy valuable for growth. Like if you can find one little thing that can help you stand out, like, you know, like a lot of people have them. Like Ludwig is another huge guy. Like for a while he was like the subathon guy. You know what I mean? He was that guy who like did the subathon for a month. Like you need like that one thing that like creates a lot of buzz that people know you for. And yeah, I think that's like a huge reason why I've been able to have such crazy growth is because I have that one little thing that makes my channel different from any other Minecraft channel.
When that person said that's a horrible niche, did you ever think about quitting, or was it kind of just like, I'm not trusting you?
Yeah, I'm super duper stubborn, dude. So when someone tells me like, no, that's not gonna work, even if I believe them, which you know, it scared me. I definitely like when he said that to me, I was like, he's probably right. But I'm so stubborn that I was just like, I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna do this anyways because like I know in my heart of hearts that Superflat's cool and that there could be people out there who also will think it's cool, and I'm just gonna go with it. And it was what was working at the time for my channel. Like basically my channel, it was so weird how my channel started to pop off. I made a world tour in August of 2021, and I did like a lot of research on like what kind of titles did well for world tours and what kind of thumbnails did well. And I posted it, and it just didn't really make a splash. Didn't really go anywhere. But then so that's August, September, October, November, December. On January 1st, like 5 months later, literally on New Year's Eve, all of a sudden the world tour just started hitting the algorithm. It started picking up speed. And I think it got like a couple 100,000 views all said and done. And I just once I got that little chance, I was like, okay, I have to go all in on just like making the best possible YouTube videos I can. And when I did that world tour, a lot of people were like super confused about what Superflat was. So I basically spent the next few months just making a ton of videos about like everything you can't get in Superflat. All the unobtainable mobs in Superflat. Will the allay be in Superflat? I just like really, really like doubled, tripled down on like Superflat info. And it was working at the time. So when they said like, dude, that's not a niche, I was like, well, it's working. So like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I was just like, I'm not gonna stop.
Back to that short thing. When you made your short, where your biggest short, where every subscriber equaled 50 blocks of dirt mined, did you expect it to do so well, and why do you think it did so well?
No, I didn't expect it to do so well in the slightest. I I had looked at all of my past shorts, and I think my most successful short of all time had gotten me like 50K subs, maybe. And I doubled that, and I said, okay, in my head, would I be okay if this short got me 100,000 subs, like twice of my most successful short of all time? And I did the math, and I was like, okay, 100K times 50, like I'll be fine, and like even double that again, I'll probably still be fine. Like it'll work out. I never expected it to do like, because that was 100K was my estimate. It did like 1 million, so it did like 10 times
Yeah.
what I expected in my most wildest scenario. So yeah, it did like 10 times worse than the worst case scenario I had come up with. But I think the reason it did so well was because it was just kind of like an algorithm hack. And I honestly, I'm not sure, but I literally think YouTube might have adjusted their algorithm to prevent shorts like that from working, because it like I have a YouTube rep, and like his whole team, like the whole shorts team was like aware of that short and like watching it and was very flabbergasted by it. And I think like basically what it was it had good retention, which is
Mhm.
really important. It had basically, it was baiting engagement, and if people are like subbing and commenting and liking at a super high rate, it's just gonna take off. And that's the part I think they may have fixed. because but then on top of that, it also just had like an actual genuine compelling reason for the thing. It wasn't just like give me subs. It was like, I am not motivated to do this terraforming project that I started, and
Mhm.
I really need some motivation. So like I'm going to do this dumb challenge to motivate me to do this terraforming project. And I think that was like a compelling reason for a lot of people who can relate to lacking the motivation to finish some big project in their world. And so a lot of people were like, you had both types of people. Either you're nice and you want to root for me and encourage me and motivate me to do a terraforming thing, or you're evil and you want to sub so that I have to dig dirt for the rest of my life. It appeals to both kinds of people, you know what I'm saying? So like I saw a lot of other copycat shorts. Like I think SB did one. I'm pretty sure Vixios did one or two. Brian the Scion did one. I can't remember if any of my other friends did them, but like a lot of people like basically copied the short, which I was fine with. But none of them really popped off the same way at all. And so either their reasons weren't as compelling as mine, or YouTube literally like fixed the algorithm so that you can't just like engagement bait and have it break the platform. One of the two things happened, and I'm not sure which.
Mhm.
Because like I don't want to like toot my own horn. I don't think that my video was so much better than everybody else's attempt at the same thing. So that's why I'm like somewhat suspicious that YouTube might have literally changed something about their algorithm to prevent that from happening again.
Has anyone ever accused you of like faking that and being like, "Oh, why would you do that? You're faking this or whatever."
Not really. Maybe in the comments of that one video, I think there were like probably a bunch of people like, "Oh, brother, another YouTuber lying for subs or something." But
Yeah.
I think like anyone who's followed my channel since then can see I'm like genuinely super committed to doing
Yeah.
it. So yeah, I really genuinely think I can pull it off. It's just gonna take me probably like 2 years, 3 years. So as long as people are still watching by them, I'll prove that I'm good for my word.
Did you ever think you would be able to beat the Ender Dragon in your super flat world?
Nah, dude. I was so shocked when strongholds started spawning in Superflat. I literally didn't believe it. I remember Hobby was the one who showed me in my Discord. It's kind of why we became such good friends. For those of you that don't know, he's the one who does the Structuralist series with me on my channel, which is probably my most popular long form series. And yeah, he sent me a Discord message back when my Discord was really small and my channel was really small. Like I hadn't popped off yet. This is like 2020 ish, because 1.16 had come out, and specifically in 1.16.1, strongholds began spawning only in new super flat worlds, and the Eyes of Ender didn't work and the locate command didn't work, but they were there. And then they got removed in 1.16.2, but then they came back in 1.18.1. And this time they spawned not only in new super flat worlds, but also old ones. And the locate command worked, and Eyes of Ender worked. So they were like fully functioning. And yeah, now ever since then they've been in the game, and I still can't believe it. Like, I never thought I'd have anything but villages. So having like the pillager outposts and the mine shafts is also insane to me. The ruined portals, and now we're gonna be getting the trial chambers in 1.21.
Mm.
I like it's like a dream come true. I honestly don't think my world would be anywhere close to what it is without the elytra and shulker boxes, because like they just to give you an idea, like I was playing the structuralist series with hobby, where we obviously don't have elytra and shulker boxes, and just to build like a little cafe, it took me like hours, because so much of my time was just running back and forth between my storage room and where I was building. And so obviously without the elytra, and then just trying to manage my inventory, like just having so many items in my inventory to do the decorating and having to constantly run back and forth to my chest. It's so slow. So yeah, I really do think my world would be a fraction of what it is right now without the elytra and the shulkers.
And then this question is from Haler in chat and also me. Like, I think we're kind of asking the same thing. How has doing YouTube full time affected your mental/physical health and your passion for content creation?
Believe it or not, like I don't know if I'm just built different or what, but like I am enjoying Minecraft more than ever. I think like doing it for a job doesn't take any of the fun out of it for me, and if anything, it like makes it even more fun because I have a reason, I have an audience to keep me going. Like before, I just had to find the motivation deep within to keep working on my world. Now it's like there's millions of people watching and rooting for me and cheering me on. So it's like, when I end stream, a 4-hour stream of just digging dirt, a lot of the times I spend my night just digging dirt and watching YouTube videos. Like people don't believe me. It's genuinely just so much fun for me. When it comes to physical health, I mean, I don't think it's affected me that much. Like I have like slightly gotten out of shape and like put on the first little bit of belly fat I ever have in my life, but I think that's more just me turning 25 and beyond.
Yeah.
I think I'm just old now. So when it comes to health, I'm trying to get more in shape and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think that's the YouTube. I literally just think that's me being 27 now and losing my genius metabolism. Not genius, but just like insane. Like
Yeah.
I just had the craziest metabolism. I was very lucky. That my parents both have crazy metabolisms too, and like I had literally tried to bulk up in the past. I just couldn't. Like my body just grinds through anything I eat, and I'm still just a skinny kid. But now that I'm 27, I gotta I gotta make sure I don't let
Yeah.
myself go, I guess. Dude, I'm so old, man. Yeah, and then yeah, has it influenced your perspective on life, relationships? I met my current girlfriend through Minecraft, so definitely. I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, I met my current girlfriend through Minecraft, through like a little group of builders. Right when I was about to hit 100K subs is when we met. So definitely has influenced my relationships for sure. And yeah.
How many hours a day do you spend on making videos/streaming? What would you say?
That's tough, man. I kind of just work all day.
Hmm.
Like probably like a solid 12,
That's
12
fine.
hours a day. And I don't really take weekends. I take weekends off of streaming, but I still kind of just work all day. And when I'm not working, I'm definitely just cleaning my house. I don't like, the only time I really relax is during dinner. I watch like a show, and then like a lot of the times after dinner we'll like play a video game or something, but for the most part, like I'm just kind of working all the time because it doesn't really feel like work. If I'm digging dirt after a stream and just watching YouTube videos, is that work? I don't know. Like yes and no. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like it's so nebulous that like I don't even know how to put an hour amount on it.
And then you got added to a game called Marble It Up. What was that experience like, and did it change your views of being a content creator?
Yeah, that was surreal, dude, because I've been playing Marble Blast Ultra. I mean, that was just one of my favorite Xbox 360 games. So to like have the same dev team that worked on that put me into their like spiritual successor of that game was so insane, dude. I think it did change my perspective on being a content creator because I grew so fast on YouTube that I just kind of still see myself as a normal guy, and sometimes like something will happen where I realize like, oh, I am like a big YouTuber. And that was definitely one of those moments where I was like, I'm just not like getting my channel logo into that game. Like, okay, I'm like not just like a normal guy in this situation. Like, I'm actually like a big YouTuber. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's once in a while I just need that little reminder because like I just don't. It all happens so fast, and I just don't really see myself that way. And but once in a while something will happen and I'm like, oh right, okay, yeah, I have this big audience now. Like, I don't know. It was super surreal. It was like, I mean, shout out to the Marble It Up guys because they were super fun to work with, super kind. I absolutely love those dudes. But
Yeah. What's a video of yours that you are most proud of?
that's tough. Let me go look at my videos. I honestly, like, my mind goes to the library video,
Oh yeah.
which was my most recent, just because, like, I don't know, I'm really, really proud of that video. The greenhouse video also comes to mind. Transforming the End also comes to mind. Probably one of those three, I think. But if I had to pick, I think I would lean towards the library one. And even it's my most recent, but I just think the reason I tend to lean towards like some of my most recent videos is because I grow with each video. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like every time I make a video, I improve slightly. I learn a little bit more. I hone my craft, and so I'm really proud of that library video. I wish it performed a little bit better, but I can't complain.
Everyone, check out that library video. Actually, a really good
Yeah.
video. So, shouts
Thanks,
to
man.
that. You've had your super flat world for almost 12 years. When you were making it, did you think it would go this long?
No, I didn't think it would go. I literally, I don't know what my expectations were. I wish I could like go back in time and ask myself, but definitely didn't think it would be going still. I mean, although like I don't know because when you listen to that video that I scheduled for 10 years in the future, like
Oh yeah.
I definitely had some sort of expectation that I'd still be doing it in 10 years. I just don't know that I thought I would be in the same one survival world for the next 10 years. I definitely thought I would still be doing YouTube though, and still be doing Minecraft on YouTube in some capacity. So yeah, that like I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I was thinking. It's so long ago now that like I just don't know anymore. But yeah, my instinct says no. Like I definitely think I would have been surprised to hear that I was still going on the world in 2024.
What do you prefer to make for content, short form or long form videos?
Oh, definitely long form is more my preference, but short form's super fun. What I like about short form is it's so insanely like gratifying. It's like instant
Yeah.
gratification. Like you can just knock out an idea that you have in like one day. You can put it up the next day and you're getting comments about it. And that's like super, super fun and gratifying to just like hash out an idea you have real quick, not have to be on that same idea for weeks and months even. That's a super fun aspect of it. So I really enjoy both, but if I had to give the slight edge to one, it would be long form just because like I feel like you can do some really impressive storytelling when you have 20 minutes
Yeah.
versus, 1 minute.
Your goal is to reach 2 million subscribers by Valentine's Day because you reached 10K on that day, I believe you said. Was it 10K?
Yeah, that's right.
If you could tell people why they should subscribe to you and help you reach 2 million, what would you say?
I mean, if you like Minecraft, I make what I think is really good content and I'm always improving. And I don't know. I think like my pitch to people would just be like everybody complains about how samey Minecraft content is on YouTube. Everybody's either like doing hardcore or 100 days. And like yes, I do 100 days as well. But I really, really do try to put my own special twist on my Minecraft videos. And so if you are looking for something different when it comes to Minecraft content, I think I'm a good option because I think the Superflat challenge is super compelling. I think that my editing style is a little bit different. I try to do things. I definitely don't talk down to my audience or dumb down my videos at all. And I'm just like a little bit older than a lot of other Minecraft YouTubers as well. So it's more geared towards just a mature audience, I think. Not in that like I swear or anything, but just like like I said, I'm never gonna dumb anything down.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna like do an idea that like would perform well, but that I'm not into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you watch my videos, I can give you the guarantee that what you're watching is something that I am insanely passionate about. which I don't know if every YouTuber can give that same guarantee. A lot of people just make the content they know will do well, which more power to you. It's, that is the smart business decision. But I'm, like I said, I'm very stubborn. So, so subscribe to me if you want to see just a different spin on Minecraft. That would be my big pitch.
Have you ever gotten bored of Minecraft content creation? And if so, how did you regain interest?
I mean, I don't know if I got bored. I just got busy during
Mhm.
college and I had to quit for like 4-ish years. I basically barely made any content. I made like one video a year. But I always still had that like little drive in me to make Minecraft content. Never really get bored of it. I more get like jaded and angry. It's hard to compare yourself to others. And, like when you see other people that you perceive to be working less hard, but they're getting more views,
Hmm.
it can be really, really frustrating and demotivating. But I just try to stay grounded and like remember, like, I don't know these people like that, like I don't know how much work they're putting into their videos at the end of the day, even if I'm perceiving it to be like a way easier idea. You know what I mean? Just like in general, like comparing yourself to others is kind of a trap. So like, yeah, I don't really get bored with content creation as much as I do get frustrated or jaded or, just jealous. But I do try my absolute hardest to keep myself in check and focus on the positive sides of it all.
What advice do you have for those trying to begin doing Superflat?
Well, first of all, it's not for everybody. I think, it's a specific way to play the game. And, if you're not enjoying it, don't force yourself to play it. Go play the normal game if that's how you want to play. That being said, I think everybody should try Superflat at least once because for me, I couldn't really stick with one world in the base game. I had a really hard time, like, just committing to one survival world. But as soon as I tried Superflat, like, everything just clicked. Like, it just felt like the perfect challenge for me.
Yeah.
So I think everybody should try it at least once. And if you are trying it for the first time, I would say focus on getting a bunch of villagers, making a villager breeder. You don't want those guys to die because then it's really annoying to transport more to your base. And then once you have the villager breeder, make an iron golem farm. Then you're in the Iron Age and everything gets way more fun. So if you can just like get through those first couple days and set up the villager breeder, get a little crop farm going, set up the iron golem farm, then you're gonna have a lot more fun instantly because once those farms are built. So like those first couple days on Superflat are definitely a grind. It's a grind I enjoy, but it's not for everybody. But if you can get to that Iron Age, the game really, really opens up. So I would say stick with it until you get there and just try and blitz those farms as fast as you can. And then you can get a good idea of whether or not the challenge is for you.
People say there's like you gotta open the world in a certain version and then update to the newest version. What's that all about?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, it's super confusing. But what happened is in 1.18, they lowered the world height. And so for most existing survival worlds, that meant that the bedrock layer got erased, and they basically just generated 64 more blocks below where the bedrock used to be, and then created a new bedrock layer at y negative 64.
Hmm.
I wasn't sure what was going to happen with super flat worlds. Whether like some of the world would be at Y0 and then like the rest would be lower, or like would they move everything down? There'd just be a big gap. I didn't know. It turns out they decided basically not to touch them because they didn't want to screw up people's like creative worlds, right? And so essentially, if you have a super flat world from before 1.18, there's the bedrock layer at Y0, and then you have 64 more blocks that you can build in, but you can't access them unless you break the bedrock somehow. And when you upgrade from 1.17 to 1.18 plus, it breaks the tag within the NBT data of the world that tells the game to only spawn villages in super flat. And so it basically changes it so that the game will just try to spawn any valid structure that would spawn in a plains biome, which is why you start getting pillager outposts, ruined portals, mine shafts, etc. And so the reason you want to start in 1.17 and then upgrade as opposed to doing the other way is because when you start a super flat world in 1.18, it generates at y negative 64, and that's too low in the world for most of the structures to spawn. So you'll still get strongholds, but you won't get any of those other structures spawning. Whereas if you upgrade from 1.17, since it's higher up in the world at that Y0 level, all of those other structures start spawning into your world. That's basically the short of it. I know that was a super long explanation anyhow, but
No,
yeah.
that's good to know.
And there's also the fact that in 1.17, axolotls are accessible. So if you want those, you can grab them real quick before you upgrade. You can even go back. Some people like to start way back so that they can get rabbits
Mhm.
in pre 1.8. And then I think it's like pre 1.13, you can get some squid and name tag them. So some people like go and get all the extinct mobs. I like to say, just start in 1.17. If you want axolotls, get them real quick and then just upgrade, and then you should have all the structures.
What are your 2024 Superflat/YouTube goals?
I have a ton. I have a ton of personal goals, but when it comes to like Minecraft and stuff like that, they're mostly like business/channel goals. I want to create like 180-ish shorts this year, which is super ambitious. I'd like to stream way more this year. And basically, my overall goal is to work with a company to do mid-roll ads in most of my long forms to really take the pressure off of the performance of my long forms. Because the last 2 years full time on YouTube, how I've made my money is ad revenue on long form videos. And that means that you need your videos to do well, basically to eat. And I'd like to make my money this year mostly on shorts, live, and ad placements on long forms. That way, how the long forms perform kind of doesn't matter as much
Yeah.
because I'm not relying on the ad revenue. And the reason I want that is because the best part about YouTube is having creative and artistic freedom, not having a boss telling you what to do or what you're allowed to make, right? But if you're relying on long form ad revenue, your boss basically just becomes the algorithm. In order to do well, to make good money, you need to do what the algorithm wants. And that's not pure artistic freedom. And the reason I am so attracted to YouTube in general is because I want that pure artistic freedom. So if I can take the pressure off of how my long form videos perform this year, then hopefully I can gain back a lot more of that creative license that the algorithm is kind of taking away from me.
A question from Golden in chat, which is, what softwares do you use for making videos?
So I record my audio in Audacity for voiceover, which is free, open source. I record all my videos and I stream out of OBS, Open Broadcaster software, which is also open source. And then for editing, I use Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects. And then for my like logos and channel design, I use Adobe Illustrator. And for my thumbnails, I use Adobe Photoshop. So I buy the whole big Adobe suite every month. I think it's like $50 a month for the subscription. I get a little cheaper because I've haggled with them basically. But if you're only looking for video editing, I do say you should probably check out DaVinci Resolve because it's free with most of the features. And then if you do want to buy it, it's like $300 once, and then you just have it for life. Whereas Adobe has that like pretty
Yeah.
expensive monthly subscription. So like Adobe's definitely worth it for me because I use like so many of the different programs within their suite. But if you're literally just looking for the video editing, I would probably say you should check out DaVinci Resolve first. That way you're not like spending a ton of money when you might not actually like need to.
What are your lifetime Superflat/YouTube goals?
Dude, I mean, like, I've already like accomplished them all, dude. Like, I always wanted to hit 100K on YouTube. Never thought I would get to 1 million. And now we're about to hit 2 million. So like, I don't even dare to dream as big as like 10 million. That's like that's crazy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like, when it comes to like subscriber goals and stuff like that, I've already accomplished most of them. So most of my goals have to do with longevity. Like I really want to hit 20 years in my Superflat world. I really want to finish the dirt challenge, and basically I just want to do this as a career for as long as possible because I know that this is not a career you can do forever. Most YouTubers have like maybe a 10-year run. We've just seen like a bunch of big YouTubers retire this past year. So yeah, it's definitely not a job you can do forever. It's not a job anyone really wants to do forever, but I do.
Yeah.
I want to do it for as long as possible. So we'll see. We'll see how far I get.
Final question, unless anything kind of comes in at the end. Is there anything else you'd like to say, and where can people find your content?
Yeah, so you can find me youtube.com/Mogswamp. I have an old channel, so I got the super nice URL. You don't even have to put
Oh
the
yeah.
at. It's just youtube.com/Mogswamp. Also discord.gg/Mogswamp. You can find my Superflat community. I'm pretty proud of my Discord because it's not really like a Mogswamp fan Discord as much as it is like a Superflat community Discord, you know? Other than that, I have mogswamp.com. You can find all my links to all my other social media on there. Patreon and all my merch, my server, all that stuff. It's all up there. So yeah.
Well, there we go. Thank you, Mogswamp, for the interview. I am very happy that we did this. And yeah, thank you for coming. I guess that's where we end it. I will
Yeah,
let you
dog.
go.
Thank you.
Thank
No,
you.
you're a good interviewer, bro. I
Thank
had
you.
I had fun.